many of us have had a grinding stone before? How many of us have seen one? You've seen a grinding stone. How many of us have used a grinding stone? Okay, so this is not so much of a Gen Z audience, and I'm excited. So you see, I was raised by my mom, and she raised us, the three of us, my brothers and I, alone. My father died when I was 8, and even then, I didn't really have a relationship with him, so I was raised by my mom. My mom was one of those super moms who believed that if you could eat, then you should be able to cook. So we didn't have a cook, and we all learned to cook. One of my earliest classrooms was the kitchen, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Because while my friends were outside playing ball or playing games, I was in the kitchen with my mom and helping out. 2 lessons, 2 key tools that she used to teach me were the mortar and the grinding stone. I'll talk to you a bit about the grinding stone. You see, the grinding stone, there's a technique to it. If you've used it, you will understand. Because if you go too fast, you spill everything that you're grinding because it has got no borders. If you're too slow, you end up wounding yourself. And God help you if it's a tarodo you're grinding on suka pepe. For those of us who grew up in the East, you won't be able to use your hands for the rest of the day because it will be very hot. But then, if you're able to master it and get that technique, you find something that will help you create a perfect, fantastic paste. And I found that thing, and that thing is called reading. You see, reading is one of the most important things you can have in life. Because what it does for you is that it gives you the ability to move from chaos to intention. It gives you the ability to find your feet on your journey without making mistakes. It makes you understand what is called time and seasons. Because with reading, you're able to understand the room, the moment, the time, and the season. You find your feet. Because one of the most important lessons I learned using the grinding stone was learning to do the ordinary thing extraordinarily well. You see, that's the rhythm of manhood. That's the rhythm of life. So what has happened today? Masculinity has been misdefined. And everyone sees masculinity from strength, from stoicism, from being able to carry a burden, from being able to suppress your vulnerability, from being able to suppress who you are. Might has become right. We celebrate power, we celebrate accomplishment, but we don't celebrate integrity. We don't look at those things. We praise your accomplishment. We ignore patience. Masculinity has now been defined from your ability to be strong, to suppress the pain, to suppress everything, to suppress your emotions, and just keep busting forth. And where has that led us? It has led us to a community where leaders can no longer lead because they haven't learned to lead themselves. Where you have communities that are strong on paper but are weak. Where you have families that are perfect on social media, but the slightest crack, the slightest pressure, they break, and you start hearing things that are sores to your eyes and pain to your ears. What do we have? Fluff everywhere, no substance. Because masculinity is looked at from a different place, where people who are supposed to lead have not learned to master themselves. And so they say to you, men don't cry. What does that mean? They say to you, don't let a woman beat you, even if she's better. Manhood is equated with dominating others. And these are lies. Lies that have caused us as men to look at life from a place of strength instead of a place of vulnerability. life that has caused us to lose our strength and lose our essence. We have to change that narrative because we have to find our redeem again. We have to redefine what we mean by masculinity. And if there's any lesson you take out of my conversation with you today, it is the fact that real masculinity is not hardness or dominance. It is the quiet power of understanding and discovering your vulnerability. It is your ability to say, I am tired, I need to rest. It is your ability to take a break. It is your ability to cry. It is your ability to seek help. You see, when you find your reading, one of the most important things that will happen to you is that you will understand what works for you and how you get your results. You will discover yourself and you will know who you truly are. And masculinity is about man knowing thyself. Because when you know yourself, you can lead. In deciding who you are, we must look at the pillars of manhood. What are the pillars of manhood that must define our journey as we build? We must first be stable. We live in a microwave generation where everything is click, 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 click. No, stability over excitement. We must be accountable. You must be able to say, I am sorry. Boys must be raised to become men who can apologize and not men who credit their wife's account to say sorry. No, men who say, I am sorry, I was wrong. Employers who apologize to employees. We must learn the concept of responsibility to self. We must be responsible to ourselves. We must take responsibility for our actions and not push the burden. And we must be vulnerable. Vulnerability means discovering your inner self, not masking your emotions, not killing your emotions, but living despite your shortcomings. Because what we must now teach our boys is that true manhood stands on these 4 pillars. But there's another very important element beyond the 4 pillars I have mentioned to you, is character. You see, hard work and consistency will get you into the room. Character will keep you in the room. If we all walk into this room because we have paid, we've gotten our tickets and we get seated. If one person gets unruly and starts acting badly, what will happen? He will be walked out of the room. Irrespective of how hard you have worked, if you do not have character, you lose the essence of your manhood. Leading in character are what all the 4 pillars of manhood stand on. And so we must find character. We must use it because, you see, with character, accountability is respected and it's not performance. Where we have character, we are acting not because we want to manipulate the audience. We're discovering ourselves and being vulnerable in ourselves and realizing that men can cry, not because you want to elicit pity, but because you want to speak to your inner self to draw strength. Character is what makes the difference. And when you find your reading, you build your character. As a startup attorney, I work with founders and I see phenomenal startups built by great people who are doing phenomenal work. But what I have discovered is that after building, character becomes the missing ingredient. Oftentimes, these businesses falter on the altar of the absence of character. You see, vulnerability helps you discover who you really are. It helps you speak to your weakness. It helps you define your masculinity. And when you couple that with character, 2 things happen. you'll be free. And when you're free, you'll be able to act responsibly to your environment, to your community, but most importantly, to yourself. You see, the future lives in the men we raise. Enough of the statements said to women, behave well so you can stay well in your husband's house. How many men here are being told, act well so you can be a great father and a great husband? The future lies in the ability of the men that we raise to be able to understand the limits of their strength, to know when to take a break, to know when to keep moving, to know when to stop, to know when to continue. It lies in the ability to know that hard work without character will break like a pack of cards. But when you have character, you build, and you build sustainably. And one very important lesson we must leave here with today is that as we build a community, as we build a nation, it starts with the man. A boy raised right becomes a great father. I was raised by my mom. I was taught the essence of manhood. I was taught the concept of responsibility. Today, I'm raising my 5 children, biological and more, even non-biological children who God has brought my way. I'm raising them with the lessons that I have learned from finding my reading. As you raise your family right, you build the right community because it all starts from home. And if we build the right community, we will build the right nation. And if we build the right nation, a lot of the problems we complain about today will not be there anymore. Because we will have leaders who can lead themselves. And if they can lead themselves, they can lead the society. And we will have a society that is built on values and virtues that have defined us. Because at the end of the day, it all starts with one boy learning the basics, finding his rhythm, just like the grinding stone, learning that it's not about speed, it's not about being slow, but about finding the right pace, getting it right to get the right result. Because after all, it's not about doing the extraordinary, but doing the ordinary thing extraordinarily well. Thank you very much.